Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order 56(1)B, I rise to make a statement on the activities of the County Public Accounts Committee for the period commencing 13th February 2024 to 19th of April 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the period under review, the committee held a total of 14 meetings in which interrogated reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of 7 county executives and 8 county assemblies. Mr. Speaker, even though the reporting period is from the 13th of February, I must note that with the leave of the Speaker, the committee retreated between the 6th and 11th of February, just a few days before commencement of the session, to write reports. And Mr. Speaker, on the order paper, members will be pleased to see we have submitted reports for 10 county assemblies and reports on 15 county executives. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the period, the committee has noted with concern the rising trend of witnesses failing to appear before the committee without justifiable reasons, amounting to contempt of Parliament. The committee has flagged the governors of Isiolo and Nairobi county executives and has subsequently summoned them to appear before the committee in April and May, respectively. And Mr. Speaker, again, this report was approved last week, but I'm pleased to note that the governor of Isiolo was compelled to appear before the committee yesterday, and the committee also resolved to impose the maximum fine available under the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act to purge the contempt of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, if contempt of Senate committees is not checked, other governors are likely to follow suit if it does not invite any serious consequences. The Senate should thus explore avenues through amendments of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act to provide for stricter penalties, fines, imprisonment, or other punitive measures. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, we have requested the Legal Directorate to do a paper on the concept of contempt of Parliament and also to share with the committee what other jurisdictions do to ensure enforcement of the directives of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, the committee undertook a county visit to Isiolo County in March for inspection of projects and interrogation of the reports of the Auditor General for the financial years 2019-2020 and 2020-2021. However, the governor failed to appear before the committee, and as I said earlier, we issued summons, and the governor appeared yesterday to explain himself. During project inspection, the committee observed that some of the projects, including the county headquarters, Isiolo Stadium, Isiolo Market, Mwangaza Dispensary, and the Isiolo Referral Hospital mortuary had either stalled or had taken longer than the planned period to complete, and some of the contractors were not on site. The committee directed the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to take keen interest on the implementation and projects, and further, we requested the Control of Budget to scrutinize the requisitions relating to the highlighted projects. Mr. Speaker, I would also emphasize and note that when we were in Isiolo, we went to the mortuary, the coolers were not working, and in as much as the county government explained that they were working before our visit, they were not able to demonstrate why they were not working during our visit. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee continues to note with concern the unhealthy size and growth of wage bill in many of the counties, beyond the recommended 35% threshold, and the processing of employee emoluments outside the integrated personnel and payroll database, what we call the IPPD. Payment outside the IPPD poses significant weaknesses for counties, since manual processes are often less transparent and more prone to corruption. Individuals responsible for payroll may manipulate records, create ghost employees, or inflate salaries to siphon county funds. Manual processing of salaries results in loss of audit trails and accountability mechanisms integral in automated information systems, since it is difficult to verify transactions or to hold individuals accountable for discrepancies in salary payments. This lack of accountability opens the door to fraud and misconduct. This unethical behavior undermines the integrity of the payroll systems and has resulted in massive financial losses in counties. Mr. Speaker, the committee has since invited the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Public Service, Performance and Delivery Management, the Council of Governors, and the County Assembly Forum to deliberate on this issue. Again, for emphasis, Mr. Speaker, the National Wage Bill Conference that was held about 2 weeks ago, representatives of the legislature were left out, and yet some of the interventions required to tame the unhealthy wage bill could rise from budgetary allocations appropriations by Parliament, or statutory or regulatory reforms. And I hope that that can improve in future. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the interrogation of the Auditor General's reports for various county entities, the committee also noted with concern the persistent accruing pending bills, including non-remittance of statutory deductions to the relevant state agencies. The committee has directed the entities to take sustainable measures to address this matter, and further directed the Office of the Auditor General and the Control of Budget to closely monitor adherence to this directive. And Mr. Speaker, I'm glad to note also that Senator Ledama Olekina has brought a motion to this House on the subject of pending bills. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the interrogation of the various county entities, the committee noted that most entities failed to disclose their contingent liabilities in their financial statements. Some of the contingent liabilities may arise from litigation in progress, guarantees, indemnities, letters of comfort and support, insurance, and public-private partnerships. County governments, whereas they do not need to recognize a contingent liability in their statement of receipts and payments, they need to disclose details of any contingencies in notes to the financial statements unless the possibility of an outflow of resources embodying economic benefits or service potential is remote. Mr. Speaker, some of the counties with the highest contingent liabilities include Nairobi City County, with a contingent liability close to 21.7 billion, Kiambu County, 497 million, and Meru County with 601 million. Other counties did not disclose their contingent liabilities, but there was evidence that there was litigation in progress, which if the matters would go against the county governments, some of the county governments would be technically insolvent. And I think we saw that with Uasin Gishu, where the issues that are in court, if they were to go against the county government in totality, then the county government would have to pay much more than the revenues they earn locally and the revenues from equitable share. And so, Mr. Speaker, this is a matter that we have insisted needs to be disclosed. On issues to deal with presentation, accuracy, and completeness of financial statements, the committee has observed that accountants in various entities have often prepared financial statements which do not comply with the public sector accounting standards. These amounts to gross negligence in their conduct or professional duties and constitutes professional misconduct pursuant to Section 8A and 30 of the Accountants Act, Cap 531. Financial statements prepared under the International Public Sector Accounting Standards and prescribed by the Public Sector Accounting Standard Boards are critical in decision-making processes in counties as well as accountability. The committee has planned engagements with the professional bodies, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, the Institute of Human Resource Management, and the Kenya Institute of Supplies Management. And Mr. Speaker, these are regulated professions, regulated through acts of parliament. We want to meet them in a bid to come up with a proper framework of collaboration so that professionals perform their duties with the level and care of skill expected in their field, and also recommend disciplinary process for their members who fail to adhere to the standards. Mr. Speaker, I'm glad to note that so far, as the chair of the committee, I had an engagement with the Office of the Auditor General during their annual planning retreat in Mombasa over the weekend, where we shared our concerns on professional responsibility. And the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya has since responded, even though through a press statement, to some of the issues that have emerged from the Senate deliberations. Mr. Speaker, it is comfort that professional bodies are taking note of what is happening in the Senate. Mr. Speaker, the Auditor General has also cited in its reports that some county entities seem to be in serious or persistent material breach of their financial management principles. The committee has noted that some entities, for example, Nairobi, Kisumu, Baringo, and Tana River counties have had adverse opinion for more than 3 consecutive years. As a result, the committee is considering invoking the provisions of Article 2253 and Section 96(1) of the Public Finance Management Act on stoppage of funds. Stoppage of funds is a serious measure aimed at addressing governance and financial integrity issues and is part of a broader framework of accountability and oversight to ensure responsible use of public funds and delivery of services to citizens. Mr. Speaker, on the conversation around stoppage of funds, allow me just to emphasize what one of my committee members, Senator Okia Omtata, had raised, that if you stop the flow of funds to counties because of an errant governor, then you are punishing the masses. So we must find ways of punishing those persons who are errant, and the Article 2253 is a very lengthy process, but we can find a roundabout way of perhaps stopping the privileges and benefits that go to the ruling classes in counties, rather than stopping the flow of funds for medicine and other critical infrastructure to counties. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I wish to thank the members of the committee and the dedicated secretariat that usually sits for long hours to ensure we reduce the backlog of audit reports. The committee will continue to use various strategies, including subcommittees and merger of financial years, to shift to a more proactive mandate and to ensure the Senate is current in its interventions. And Mr. Speaker, I would wish to report to the House that we are currently dealing with the next round of appearances will go up to the financial year 2022. It's nothing to be proud of. But considering the backlog that we have had in the past, Mr. Speaker, we pray that by the end of this session, we will be able to bring to the House reports up to the financial year 2023. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.